yeah, Stephanie Kelton was the economic advisor to Bernie Sanders in both of his unsuccessful presidential runs. She was also the chief economist for the minority Democrats. Bernie Sanders brought her with him to the Senate Budget Committee. So she has been very, very close to power for a number of years now. And she is one of the first 1B generation of MMTers. Like there was Warren Mosler, Bill Mitchell, Randall Wray, and then Stephanie came in there shortly thereafter. Matt Forstater was one of them in the beginning. Scott Fulweiler was second generation, etc. So Stephanie, her whole thing was she came to prove that MMT was bullshit. She was like, this is crazy. Of course, taxes fund spending. And so for her doctoral paper, she did the research and she found out, in fact, that no, the government spends money into existence and then taxes a little bit out of it, that bonds are merely existing US dollars in the economy that someone put into a time box savings account and earned a nominal interest on. But the problem is that we as regular people have been convinced that we are broke, that we don't have enough money in our bank accounts. So how could the government possibly have money? So they've been convinced by, everyone from Shama Sawant to Jill Stein, our friends on the left, all the way over to Donald Trump, all of them, Obama, Clinton, all of them, every last one of them. Now we'll say some of them are just fucking liars and others are just ignorant or full cups. Full cups meaning they think they got it all going on and they don't need to learn more. So they don't need to hear all this shit about taxes, not funded spending, and they're moving on. And, I don't want to take shots at any, friendlies, but there are some strays that'll get fired because they're part of the problem. Richard Wolff, part of the problem.
It drives me crazy. Okay? You know, when I hear it because of you, I correct it all the time, but now it's like fingernails. It's like fingernails on the blackboard every time someone says it. And I just say, can we just say our collective resources? Can we call it our collective resources? Stop saying tax dollars.
Public money.
That.
It's just public money. And see, this stems from a period of time where Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher in particular, talked about there is no such thing as public money. There is only taxpayer dollars.
Exactly.
Now, here's the problem.
That's bad.
The vast majority of people cannot fathom that when they send money to FICA for Social Security or they send money to other taxes, that the government doesn't need their coupon. Imagine being Sbarro's. I'm going to use Sbarro's for this real quick. You're out there, the dude's standing on the corner handing out 50-cent coupons, and Sbarro's just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? We don't have enough 50-cent coupons. We're going to go broke. When they're the creator of the fucking 50-cent coupon. This is the same thing about the U.S. government. The U.S. government needs us to need their dollar. So what do? They impose an obligation payable only in that dollar so that you have to have it. And that is how they enslave the world with debt peonage through the IMF. That's how they enslave us by doing it. If they were us, if the government really was representing us, then the government itself would be an extension of our collective will, but it's not.
Right.
Okay. And so this is where the MMT lens, it's just a lens. It's not like, will they implement MMT? Will they not implement? MMT describes what's happening, period. It describes the fiat system. And unfortunately, all anyone has ever seen is shitty capitalist neoliberals running the economy. They've never seen a MMT-informed leftist run the economy. And God forbid you let some of the other left do it. They're ready to bring back the gold standard because they just don't fucking understand money. So this documentary is it's all in its own about the deficit myth, about reducing the deficit and all the different, you see some really big names come through the door. You're going to see a lot of.
Is this new? This movie?
It's probably about 2 years old now. Okay. A good friend, Marin Poitras, was filming this thing back at the last MMT conference, which was at Stony Brook, pre-COVID. I was interviewed. She came to my house interview. I did not make the final cut. I'm on the cutting room floor somewhere. But there was a lot of us got cut out of it, to be fair. They narrowed it down, and pretty much made it a story of Stephanie Kelton. Yes, there are some other faces in there, but for the most part, they trimmed out everybody except for a handful, and it focused on Stephanie Kelton, and which is okay, because Stephanie has been the one dealing with all these politicians, and she's the one that wrote the book. And so this movie is in essence tying together with her book, The Deficit Myth. This is called Finding the Money. Okay. And she took the video, this video to all the different independent carnival, or what do they call them? You know, the Cannes, or all the different film festivals, and it kept getting awards. It kept getting more funding. And so finally now it's out and everybody can get to it. It's a really good movie. I obviously they were doing it in a way that was meant to be seeker friendly. So there's a lot of things in there that she doesn't like come out with a bolo and hit you over the head with a hammer. It's very gentle. It's funny. There's some really humorous moments throughout where they absolutely destroy many of your favorite economists, just decimate them. And I love it, every second of it.
Where is this? Where can people watch this?
You can see it on YouTube. You can get it on Hulu, I think, Apple TV, I believe. You can get it. You can get it anywhere. I think you can even get it on Amazon. I think you can buy it off of any other streaming service. I do know for sure you can get it on YouTube. And I think you can buy a hard
copy. And this is a trailer. This is a trailer. No,
this is a bunch of clips from the movie, and we will.
Well, let's go ahead and watch it. We could stop, but this beginning part was really important. I hope my description didn't take away from that, because right off the bat, she's starting to try and fill in some gaps for people, and hopefully people will pay attention, because she does know what she's talking about. Me and her are not politically aligned. But we are definitely economically aligned.
Right.
That's good.
And so I think 95% of the problems that we have getting better policy is probably down to the words we use to describe what's actually happening.
Today, I nominate Jared Bernstein, an old friend who's been with me a long time, a brilliant thinker.
White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein joins us now from the White House.
Thanks so much. The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
How badly can you fail a lie detector test?
So I want you to understand something. Jared Bernstein is an important dude, man. This is like Biden's guy. This is like Obama's guy. These are the Democrats. Well, his economist said this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Like people trot out
of the Council of Economic Advisors. This is the chairman of the Economic Advisory Council to the President of the United States, and he cannot make a complete sentence and answer the question.
No, and let me tell you something. The most painful part of this, and I had to close the chat out because I'm watching people that I can tell clearly don't understand anything about the banking system. But this is the yin yang though, right? This is the important part. Their cup is so full that they can't handle new information.
It's hard.
And they're busy telling you what's going on when literally there's expert stuff going on right now. There's important stuff. Now, I am a lay person, but I have done so much with these people, with the absolute best of the best economists in the world. And what happens in this video is so important that if you think you know what you're talking about and you don't know everything that happens in this video, you've just screwed the pooch and screwed yourself out of learning something really important. So my ask would be to take your full cup, pour it out on the floor for a minute, and let some new information enter into it. Okay? Just listen. And because what's happening is too many people that think they know, they're running around the fire pit. Yeah, the Rothschilds and blah, blah, blah. And they just can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. The creature from Jekyll Isle, the this, the that. They can't help themselves.
I know.
And it's so important to get past. You got to leave them behind, man. But there's so many of them. It's like a zombie horde. It's like World War Z hitting the wall. And it's just, that's what you're up against. They're not listening. They don't want to hear. So the ability to change it because they're not hearing is next to nil. That is the biggest chasm with fixing society is this, I know everything, I'm full cup, and I don't need to hear more.
I know.
And I hope that changes. Anyway.
Yeah, this guy's upsetting. Anyway.
Let's keep going.
They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to let's see. They print money and they use that money to. They sell bonds. They borrow. I guess I'm just. I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money, does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So. I don't think there's anything confusing there.
I'm so concerned right now. I mean, and I'm normally not thrown, but I got to tell you something, like, seriously, I will always very, very easily admit, and I've told you this many times, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I accept that I'm just never going to understand it. And that's okay. The truth is, I don't need to completely understand it to know that it's a scam and to be able to trust who I trust, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But this guy sounds worse than me. And I can't tell you how horrifying that is. Like, he has less of an understanding of it than I do. Yep. And I stupid about economics. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is horrifying.
Yep.
If anything, this should be even more encouragement towards modern monetary theory.
Well, when you realize that the for me, my rationale or my reasoning for getting people to understand MMT is not that, hey, we're just going to elect a few more progressives and we're going to make it rain, you know. That's not it at all. It's literally 100% to show people that we could do great things, but we're not. And it's not because you voted for the wrong people, because you've probably voted 1,000,000 times in your life, or 1,000, 100, or whatever it is. And in the end, you've seen nothing but a rightward shift. You've seen nothing. I mean, the idea that we're seeing any kind of progress for us as people is absolutely ludicrous. If you can tell me the ACA is a complete failure, there's nothing to celebrate there.
No, it did. It helped them. It was very successful in doing what it was supposed to do.
Yes. But the point is that when people heard about the ACA, they were thinking, we all have health care.
No.
They didn't process the fact that this was a handout to capitalism, a handout to insurance companies. This is why you will never see a public option or Medicare for all, because the entire system is one big giant fire hose to those wealthy people, like that CEO that Luigi blew away. Thank God. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Until you understand the way the system really works, and not get all your bullshit from Ron Paul, okay? Until you understand the way the system really works, you won't know what you're fighting against, and you won't be able to battle. And that's what I think is so important, is we need to wake people up by showing them the very fountainhead. I'll use a libertarian friendly thing. The fountainhead from which all this shit comes from.
It's my favorite book. It's my most favorite book of all time.
My most favorite book to burn.
No, it's a great book. It's not a theory for life.